Hello, my name is Michael Randolph. Today I turn 65 and I have a story to tell. I was born in Baltimore, specifically the Sandtown Winchester community, West Baltimore, in Baltimore City. I didn't grow up poor. I grew up damn poor. I grew up in a one block neighborhood called Collette Street. It was known as an alley street. Some people call it Clayton Place. I've seen so many people killed in that neighborhood. Well, Collette Street is gone now and it's been rebuilt. But I remember how it felt to go to school with tennis shoes that had holes in it, and your moms will put cardboard in it in order for you to go to school. She told us to be proud. In my neighborhood, we dealt with roach infestation, rat infestation. In the basement where I grew up in, it was dirt. So you can imagine having to go all the way down to the basement. Keep in mind, this is Baltimore City. And the basement was dirt. So when you go in there, you're walking in dirt to get to the bathroom. And it stayed cold all the time. I remember when the heater was turned on and the oil that was in the air. I don't even think I understood what poor was until I was older because my mother did such a good job. She was a single mom. She worked on the railroad. And she did what she had to do to make sure me and my other brothers and sisters survived. In my community, people treat you like you are second-class citizens. And I say that because it's true. Depending upon your zip code, depending upon the way you talk, people judge you accordingly in second-class status. I remember when my moms will fight for us because of one situation or another, and how she had a sixth grade education, and she wasn't the best articulator, but she was a strong black mother, and how the general society, especially those of the elite, those who are the game keepers that decide what should and what shouldn't go into a neighborhood, those type of folks would always look down upon her. In my heart, I would always say, when I grow up, I'm gonna create a situation in which the people who live in the poorest of the poorest of neighborhoods are given value just like any other group of people. Your income or social status in life should not determine your wealth. Grown up in some of the most violent neighborhoods in the United States, from Baltimore to Tampa. I witnessed my first dead body when I was age 11 to 12. I witnessed my first actually seeing a person killed at age 13 or 14. My brother was shot twice. The first time he made it. The second time he died. So when I say up close and personal violence, my mother, who was at the time in her late 50s to 60s, was shot in the back when she was trying to save my little nephew, who was age 7, during a shootout, and which she had nothing to do with. But for the grace of God, she survived. When I say my neighborhood was bad, I mean my neighborhood was bad. We used to do the gang thing. That is, I was part of a neighborhood gang. And we thought we were the bomb. On Pennsylvania Avenue and Gold, that's where we used to hang out. I remember when, if you wasn't part of that hood and you came past Pennsylvania and Gold and Pennsylvania and Baker, and you was walking and you wasn't thugging or you wasn't part of, a neighborhood, you'd have to pay to continue to walk. We thought we was the bomb. I remember when we used to go to parties and we used to, house parties, put all our coats on the floor and stand against the wall and dare somebody to touch it. That's the neighborhood I grew up in. One of the roughest neighborhoods in the country. So, with a clear understanding of all of the problems in the city, I started to have an understanding that in order to change it, you have to be part of the solution. A person once told me, Mike, you remind us of the spook that sat by the door. And we're going to come back to the reason why that's so important as you begin to work with communities to build them to capacity. So the first award you see here is from a group that I worked with. Just to give you a little up to speed, I oversee, and we're going to talk about the group in a little while, an organization that works with and empower grassroots neighborhoods to actually fulfill their vision. So this was given to me by one of those groups a couple of years ago, and it's really dear to me. This other award I received on my birthday was from Job Plus. and the residents of the Rovers Park projects. When you are committed to the streets and you're committed to manifest that change in communities, you become recognized. And I really appreciate everything related to that. Now let's go back to the spook that sat by the door. You must curate your own value or someone else will. From Sandtown, Baltimore, to Tampa, Florida, I've been trained by some of the brightest minds in the country on neighborhood transformation. From Ivy League institutions to lenders, investors, developers, and other think tank individuals and other professionals in the field on how to transform the community. I was trained on how to do the money deal in order to create on scale projects that enhance the quality of the community. Even to today, I remain in one of the most violent communities in the country here in Tampa, Florida, in Rovers Park. Even here, violence having escaped me a couple weeks ago. More, maybe a couple months ago, there was a bullet that hit part of my window, kitchen window, down the bottom. Didn't come through or penetrate. But it was as a result of a situation in which someone was spraying the neighborhood with a AK something. It was a machine gun. Have you ever tried to dance around bullets? Have you ever heard when that type of machine gun goes off, when they go pee, 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 pop, 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 pop? You don't know which way to run. Eventually I hit the floor. But I'm only trying to say that I understand what it means to live in the most violent neighborhoods in America. That's what led me to start the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development, to give voice to the voiceless. In most communities, especially when you're a grassroots group, the elite determines what should or shouldn't be. The gatekeepers, those who are in authority. And a lot of times, those people that can actually create the change that people consider second-class people are not given an opportunity to make change in that neighborhood. That's why I'm committed. See, old school is poor people are big business. And businesses make money on poor people mind, poor people pain. Time after time after time after time. From Model City up to now, programs come into the community, but pretty much the community remain the same. New School. New School is based on working with communities so that poor people are developing, designing, funding, planning, implementing, and controlling its own plan to create its own business as a community. 65 years ago, I was born. 65 years ago, I was born to one of the most violent and poorest communities in the nation. 65 years today, I'm working to change the narrative, not from a perspective of emotion, but a best practice, evidence, evidence-based, data-based approach. Since getting started, we have been able to provide the skill set necessary for neighborhoods to take empowerment in 10 different states, from California to New York. In that time, we have provided training to over 1,500 nonprofits, government agencies, community residents, businesses, and others throughout the United States. I remember that day and looking in my mother's eyes and looking at those people that thought they was better than her, that when I grow up, I'll be committed to creating a change that allows those people that are on the bottom to determine their own destiny, to design their own table, and then to bring to that table, once they have that plan, the different players or the different partners in order to make the plan work, from government, institutions of higher learning, investors, lenders, and others. Once a community designs the plan, then it sets the course for the future of this community. I'm committed until the day I close my eyes to fulfilling that dream.